Okay, so we are going to name covalent bonds. And to name those bonds, we're going to use the prefixes that you got in your notes the other day. And the 1 is mono, 2 di, 3 tri. We all went all the way through 10. So you want to make sure that when you're doing this, you have those prefixes in front of you while you're practicing. Now, you should get to the point where you memorize these prefixes. But when you're starting out, you can have them in front of you. So, let's start with something we're all familiar with. What is the common name of that molecule? Water, H2O. So we're going to name this molecule scientifically using our prefixes. So what elements do we have?
Hydrogen, oxygen.
We have hydrogen and we have oxygen. How many hydrogen do we have?
2.
2. So we're going to use the prefix
Di.
di. So we have dihydrogen. How many oxygen do we have?
1.
1. So what prefix do we use?
Mono.
Mono. So I have mono, and our rules say oxygen will go to oxide. We're going to change that ending to IDE. Well, does that look right?
No.
Dihydrogen monoxide. No, we're going to cut an O out of that and just make it plain monoxide. Dihydrogen monoxide. Okay, just cut an O out. When there's a double vowel, we'll just cut it out. All right, so let's do another one. Let's do another familiar one. Let's do CO2. So what 2 elements do I have?
Carbon and oxygen.
I have carbon, and I have oxygen. All right, how many carbon do I have?
1.
I have 1 carbon. What's the prefix for 1?
Mono.
Mono, but there was that last slide that said we do not use mono on the first element. If there's just 1, you just leave it the element name. You do not use the prefix mono for the first element. So we're just going to leave that carbon. And how many oxygen are there? 2. So what prefix do I need?
Di.
Di. So carbon dioxide. Change the ending to IDE. Okay? Let's do CO. What would that one be?
Carbon monoxide.
Carbon monoxide. Notice I took an O out. That would have been a double O if you'd have done the prefix and the oxide. All right, let's use some different ones. Let's do CH4. So what's my first word going to be?
Carbon.
Carbon. And I don't use that prefix mono on the first one. What's my prefix for 4?
Tetra.
Tetra. So my word here is going to be carbon
Tetrahydride.
tetrahydride, commonly known as methane. But that's the big scientific name for it, carbon tetrahydride. Let's do one more. Let's do C4H10. How would I name the first part of that? Tetracarbon. Tetracarbon. Decahydride. I got to use my prefix for 10. Decahydride. So it's easy rules to follow. You're just putting the prefix for the number in front of the element, whether it's the first element or the second. You don't use the prefix mono on the first one. You leave the element name on the first one the same. You don't do anything with it. You change the ending on the second one to IDE. Any questions? Pretty simple, right? Pretty straightforward? Okay.